Who am I? The girls them sugar.
Oh, we live.
Who am I? The girls them sugar.
I thought you froze real quick.
It's like, oh, that ain't nothing but the damn devil.
Oh, bro. What's good with you?
Chilling, man. How you living?
Chilling, man. Is it volley Pelé, dog? You know, just flying over Paris. You know what I'm talking about?
That's what we doing today. That's what we doing today. All right.
I haven't stopped saying that since I heard that. I have not stopped saying that line, bro. I cannot stop saying it.
That's love.
Welcome, everybody, viewers, listeners to the Who Am I podcast. Sorry to cut you off, bro.
No, it's all good, bro. I know we don't talk about battle rap on here, but that Tay Rock and Daylight battle,
Phenomenal.
It's nuts.
Phenomenal, bro.
It's nuts. I can see it going either way, though. I know you said you got a 2-1 Daylight.
Yeah, I got a 2-1.
I can see the last round going to Tay Rock because Daylight started with kind of some bullshit with the whole gay flips and the
I thought that was hilarious.
It was funny.
I thought that was hilarious.
It was funny, but Tay Rock came with some shit that third.
Oh, you really meant that. You really did that.
It was funny, and then he left Earth after that. He completely left his body after that.
Yeah, bro.
Tay Rock started with the funk though.
Yeah, that was cool. I think it was 2-1, but it was an incredible battle. It was incredible. I like these type of battles more because like the crowd, it was enough people there to give you a reaction to let you know that they was going off, but it wasn't too many to stop their round. So like,
yeah, if that was the one with the battle, I think Tay Rock would have took it.
If it was actually like with a crowd, yeah,
I think if it was a crowd, Tay Rock would have took it.
Yeah, because so many of Daylight would say like every bar would be so intricate and everything is like if you just zone in, it's a punch, similar metaphor. It's just so much. So,
but either one or two things would happen if they had a crowd. Daylight, for one, a lot of stuff would have went over his head because I had to watch it twice, maybe like 2.5 to really trying to catch everything that either one of them was saying. But Daylight was rapping so fast paced that in order to catch everything that he said, you'd have to listen to it. Or Daylight would never been able to get through a round because he would have been stopped every time a punch was heard, and that punch was heard every like couple seconds.
Yeah.
So it would have been the crowd would have been going crazy.
Round one was crazy. It was like, how am I getting a reaction when there's no audio?
Let me rap. I always love it. Let me rap. just mad because they can't rap. I love that shit, bro.
That was a good battle though. I think they got a caffeine, like an app or whatever, like you could pay for. But get it how you live. However, you can see that battle. Strongly suggested if you like battle rap. That's a good one.
Hell yeah. Shit, let's get to this music though.
Yeah, man. So
you got a lot this week. What you got? How many singles you got?
Singles, I got 4. 2 of them the big ones.
Right.
But yeah, I got 4.
Same. We probably got the same ones then because it wasn't too crazy.
Low key, like I didn't think a lot of music came out this weekend, but as I like looked more, it's like it's low key was a lot of music.
A little bit. Yeah. All right, well let's get to it. I'm gonna let you get your shit off because I know you got Money Bag Yo, right?
No,
you don't. Okay, said something didn't come out this week,
bro. That came out like 2 weeks ago. We talked about it on the pod.
Did we?
Do you work here?
No. No. Apparently not, dog. Apparently
Run it back then.
But this shit, let's talk about entanglements then. Let's start with the bullshit. We always leave with the positive. Let's leave with the bullshit. Matter of fact, since we say this, dog, our positive shout outs, bro, what they go on to do later on.
It's like the Madden curse.
It's like a Madden curse. It might be the Madden curse, bro. It might be the Madden curse, bro. Boy. That's nowhere here or there. So
we gonna get into it.
Entanglements.
Possibly the most petty song since Ray J's "I Hit It First."
We got August and we got Rick Ross, man. It definitely, if I had to guess, it definitely is the most pettiest song since that. But they collabed on the track, kind of R&B song. August did the chorus. He has a verse on there as well. Rick Ross has a verse. I don't really even know. All I got is jokes for this, bro. Because it really ain't that bad a song, though. Like it ain't shit. It ain't trash. It's just so petty and disrespectful the way you look. Depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, it went a little bit too far. Like,
man, if I'm Jaden, how about Jaden though?
Facts. He definitely got to throw in the one.
If I'm Jaden, bro, you not about to be making songs about fucking my mom, bro.
He said I had the key to the crib and the car.
You are not making songs about fucking my mom, bro. It's just gay. There's only so much I can take, bro. I tried to let it pass. I don't really give a fuck what my mom was on, bro. You not about to be out here making songs about fucking my mom. It's not cool.
Yeah, man. Even Rick Ross was getting petty, like, you know what I'm saying? He was like, oh, her favorite he was like telling the story like her favorite rapper was Tupac, knowing that Jada and Tupac had a thing. Like, come on, bro.
That whole song, I can't even listen to it just for the reason of it. But I mean, I'm sure he'll get what he wants out of it though, which is probably some more clout of it.
Yeah, because it's like, I guess the whole situation, like, it did bring awareness. Like, I am seeing a lot more August Alsina music, but I haven't clicked on anything. Like, I've seen his videos on YouTube. I've seen it like pop up on the streaming services, but I've never clicked on it. This is the first one where I actually clicked and listened to it. So, hopefully he can capitalize on this moment. But
yeah, I don't respect it though.
Yeah, he did. It's a dirty play right here.
Yeah, I don't respect it though. Nah, you can't go out like that. Will, don't go out like this, bro. Will, you got money, man. Get that man touched. I don't really like violence. Go get that man touched, bro. You can't let nobody talk about your wife like that. Like, cause at first it's like, right, like it's the interview and it's like, oh, it's a whole like healing thing, like everybody's healing and things of that nature. Well, all right, well, what's this though?
He said I was busting that thing down.
Nah, I was. She called me because she wanted me somebody to knock her walls out.
Bruh.
I'm not going for that, bro. I'm not taking no more Will slander either, bro. I'm not taking no more Will slander either, bro. Will handling this very maturely. I commend him for it. I will not do the same. I would not.
He holding it down, bro.
Will, get that man touched, bro.
Or this could be a business play though. You know what I mean? You could never know. This could be a play like, all right, bet we're going, the album ain't doing real good. We're gonna come through, throw you the oop, throw some more direction your way. Who knows, bro? This could be strategy.
Will already threw him a lot, didn't he?
He about to throw some hands.
I mean, next is coming hands, bro.
I gave you my wife.
The wife already gave the booty up, bro. I'm not about to give you too much more than that.
Yeah.
Nah, they wild. Can you just imagine like August coming downstairs with the robes, like singing "I love this shit" in your living room?
Could you imagine going out to the driveway and then he warming up the car? Hey, bro, just make sure I got gas in it before she go out. She got a long day ahead of her.
Hey, while you at it, can I borrow some money? She needs some groceries. Get the fuck on somewhere, bro.
Petty, bro. Petty.
This is bad, bro. This is bad, bro. I'm not going for that. I'm not taking no more Will Slater though. The bees is funny. I'm not taking Will Slater no more, bro. I love Will Smith. Cause they be did. I feel like they saying it's not disrespectful because it's like, oh, there's nothing wrong with being gay, but calling a man gay that ain't never came out and said that is slander.
Hey, bro, you can't control the internet, bro. The internet gonna do.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just making an argument that like people are like, well, there's nothing wrong with being gay. I'm like, I didn't say that. If you call me gay and I didn't come out and say I was gay, that's slander.
Yeah.
Because I might not want that to come out anyway, even if I was.
Yeah.
So that's slander to me. Like, doesn't matter what you calling me. If you come out and say that that's what's going on, it's not what's going on. It's slander. But who am I?
I'm not gonna defend that.
All right, go ahead. Do your thing.
So 2 main singles. I kind of got them in like 2-packs. So I got 2 2-packs I want to talk about. The first one is from a group called They. So they are like a duo similar to like a division where they have one producer and one singer. And a couple of weeks ago, they dropped a song called Count Me In, which is super dope. And then this past Friday, they dropped a song called Play Fight featuring Tinashe. So I think it's 2 really good songs. Again, we talk about R&B so much. It's just another duo, another artist throwing themselves in the mix. But they, Count Me In, and Play Fight, 2 dope songs, R&B. I'm looking forward to their album. They had a nice album in 2017 and a good EP in 2018. So hopefully they deliver again in 2020. But they check them out.
Dope. All right, well, shit, let's just go straight into the other two back then.
Je voulais faire it, dog. You know what I'm saying?
I'm assuming you want to start with Greece. So,
well, that's the one I like. I really like Greece. So Drake and DJ Khaled, they came together and they dropped 2 songs, one of which being titled Greece. And I like this track. Like at first I was like, but as I listened more to it, I really started to like it. And if this was on an album, I think I would have loved this track. Like if this was like a track 9 or a track 11, just like hidden and I didn't know about it, I really would have liked this song a lot more. It's just when you push this out as a single, I really don't think that I'm probably going to get tired of it a little bit faster than I should because it's going to be played so much. I'm going to hear it so much. Whereas though, if this was on an album and it kind of felt like I discovered it, I would have liked it a lot. But in comparison to the other track that he dropped, I think this is the vibe for Drake. I think like that dark, kind of moody, half singing, half rapping. I think that's Drake's vibe. And when you get into his like on his trap beats and once he get into like try to sound like the modern artist of the day, it gets kind of boring. And we're gonna talk about that with the second song. But what you think about Greece?
I like Greece. It would. I agree. It probably would have been better in the midst of an album instead of just like as a solo like kind of project type thing. My only issue, and maybe it's a bias of mine, but I haven't really liked anything that DJ Khaled's been involved with since like Wild Thoughts. So I don't really care for this one much either. Like, right? Like I wasn't expecting much because of that reason, because again, I'm just not appreciative of the way DJ Khaled does things. Not, I don't want to say the way because that's wrong, but just the music that comes out with it seems very a standard sound, nothing really is like pressing anything forward. Like he had the Cardi B record a while back with 21 Savage. I think it was Wish Wish or something like that. They all just kind of sound like whatever the sound is currently, like he tries to recreate that, which is cool, but it just kind of comes off as a knockoff version of what the original sound is. So that's why I don't really care for what DJ Khaled got going. But this song is cool, but it was Miz though, man. Like it was just all right. Like for the build up that it was, especially when anytime you got Drake on the record, and we haven't really heard from Drake in a while. Not really. I mean, I think we heard this. Like we had the Lucy's that we had a little bit earlier in the year, but we haven't really heard anything that we felt like was new. So
he dropped the whole project.
Yeah, but a lot of that was Lucy's and a lot of it was old though. There was some new stuff on there, but a lot of that was old and a lot of it was some Lucy track. And I'm not saying that's not him giving his full effort. It just don't really feel like that's not the album mode Drake that we come to expect from him. Right? Is that fair?
It wasn't too far off. Like
you think that'll be?
I think that's on par with it. That's on par with a Drake album.
Really? Where'd you rank it? Just quickly.
Like out of 10?
If you had to rank his albums.
It was better than, I say probably, it was better than Views. It was better than More Life.
Really?
Yeah.
I disagree.
Hey, bro, music is subjective.
You think the album was better than More Life and Views?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
I said what I said.
I didn't say less. Well, but as far as singles go, again, this to me is mids. If that's the case, if you think that was subpar as if that's going to be on level with what the album that he's going to be dropping, it's hopefully whenever he has a chance to, with everything going on in the world, it feels like everything's being pushed back. But whenever he gets a chance to drop this next album, if this is on par or the same or whatever words you want to use as the album that he's going to drop, I'm going to be disappointed. That's what I'll say.
Drake, Drake hasn't dropped a great album since I want to say, if you're reading this, it's too late. Yeah. I think that was the last great Drake project. Everything since then, Views, More Life, Scorpion, the Dark Lane demo, it's just been like, all right, it's good. Like, you know he's going to have a hit, but Drake hasn't consistently delivered great albums, and that's been the biggest criticism of him. And songs like these.
His bar is so high, too, though.
Exactly, and that's what I was gonna say about the second song, "Pop Star." Like, it's not a bad song. Like, Drake doesn't make bad songs. Like, I don't think I've ever, even going back to his mixtape days, have heard a bad Drake song. It's just cool. Like, he's hit so many highs, he's been so chart dominant that when he creates something that's just cool, it's like, I don't care about it because it's Drake. I want the culture to move. I want something to shift. Whereas like every time like Kendrick drops, like culture shifts a little bit. When Kanye drops, like stuff shifts, stuff changes. And Drake should be the type of artist to where whenever he drops something, things should change. But because he's so consistent, because he's so active, the shine is kind of wearing off a little bit. It's not really as big of a deal when Drake drops because he gives us stuff like this.
Yeah, that's fair. It's hard to gauge you when your good is better than 90% of the rap game, though.
Right, like if this was like an up and coming artist, it's like, bro, I'm checking for this dude.
Yeah, it's really hard to kind of put you in a category when you're already in a league of your own. So we expected him to be better and better every time, but it's hard to do that for him. I can understand. I can see both sides of what it is, but I'm just ready for the album. That's all I can really say about it. Like, these are cool. They're good songs. They're not great. I want to hear the great stuff. I want to hear the next Drake, because the leading into this year, it was a big deal, right? He had the interview with I'm not sure who they were. I can't think of their name, but
Rap Radar.
But in that interview, he was speaking about how, like, hey, out of the three that's on the top tier, like, let's see who can continue going. Let's see who's going to lead this next decade again. Like, let's see what's going on. So to me, that signal that, hey, he's preparing to let loose. Like, he's preparing to be the best to ever do it. Like, he's wanting to do that, and then starting with this next decade, he has to start this decade off good. So is he going to do that? I don't know. What I've heard so far has been a bit disappointing as far as that standard. But as far as the standard for the average artist, then all this stuff is amazing.
I wouldn't say amazing. It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
Mans don't play no tic-tac-toe, all right?
He don't play no tic-tac-toe. That is true. We did find out that he don't play no tic-tac-toe.
All right. You got any albums?
Yeah, I got 2.
All right. So I got one album, artist by the name of Pink Sweats. It's actually an EP, but it's called The Prelude. And I think this is a great project. Again, some more R&B. But normally when a Pink Sweats project drops, it's normally like an acoustic sound. Like, he doesn't really have too many instruments. So with this is, I could be wrong, but this is the first album that I've heard where he actually had full production. And I like it a lot. Like, it has more of a soul, some funk, some like an old school feel to it. But if you know the Pink Sweats brand, you know his type of singing, you know his melodies, everything is still consistent. It just seems as if his sound is evolving. And short project, again, it is an EP, so it's 6 songs, 17 minutes, but I like every song on there. It's a great project.
Dope. I'm gonna go quick on mine too. Then Chilumbo, that's Janae Echo. She had a deluxe album of her album that she dropped a little bit earlier this year. I like it because it just has it builds on what the album already was. So she took songs that, like, people really like I don't know if you Pussy Fairy. I don't know if you I'm sure you did, but for anybody that's listening, if you heard Pussy Fairy, the beginning of that song, there's a completely different beat, there's a completely different vibe to the song. She took that part of the song and made it into a whole song, which I really enjoy. She remixed one of the best songs on there, which is BS featuring her, and put Kalani on it. There's a lot of different songs, a lot of different ways. She just took songs, made them better. She put Wiz Khalifa on there. About 5 or 6 more songs added to it, so just something that might check out. My next one is Kyle, See You When I'm Famous. So I was just kind of going. Did you like that?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm fucking with it. So I was just kind of going through because I'm like, damn, everybody's scared Drake drops, so nobody coming out with some music, right? And then I'm just going through. I'm like, all right, well, I got time, and this album is only 32 minutes, 12 songs. Let me just check this out. I've never really heard Kyle. I don't know if you had before either, but I never really.
Yeah, that really... I Spy with My Little Eye.
Yeah, so I know who he is, but I never heard a full project from him.
Right.
But so I was shocked because I didn't know he came out in that time with the freshman class of like Lil Uzi and 21 Savage and people like that. But I didn't really know what his music was like. It's kind of R&B. Like it's right where that like K Camp is. A lot of it is right where that K camp is. So I was actually super surprised. So he got a song on there with Bryson Tiller. He got songs on there with Rico Nasty, Tiger, Rich the Kid. It's only 32 minutes. Again, that's Kyle See You When I'm Famous. I really enjoyed it. It kind of talked about like what was interesting because we don't have a lot of artists that do this is like he talks about the toxic women, and how that affected him. Like he don't really just talk like calling out women for what they doing. He's saying, "Hey, these women got me. This is how I react to it. Like this is my feelings about how toxic women have been treating me throughout the year." It's a different take. It's a different take than what we used to in any type of R&B or rap. So I appreciate it for what it is, and he can sing a little bit. He can sing a little bit. He got the Tory Lanez vibes going on. It might not be a good comparison right now, but
I would say he more like Drum, if you remember Drum.
Oh yeah, Drum.
Like,
yeah,
it's like a Drum album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. But yeah, that's Kyle See You When I'm Famous, man. Y'all go check that out. It's definitely worth the listen.
Yeah, that Bryson Tiller song is fire.
That Bryson Tiller song crazy. That Bryson Tiller song crazy, bro.
Yeah,
I'm ready to hear from Bryson Tiller after that. I guess we've been ready for it to hear from him.
Well, last time we rushed him, he dropped the ball.
Rushing is relative though, right? Like it's been a while.
You gotta let people cook. Like I wanted a Kendrick album last year, you know what I mean? But it's like he gonna cook on his own time, you know what I mean? So it's like
if he ever cook again, shit at this point.
You know, he in the kitchen working on that wrist motion, dog. You know what I'm saying? Only Pele, dog. You know what I mean?
All right. Let's move on, man. You want to introduce this topic?
Yeah. Speaking of people cooking and dropping the ball. So one of the biggest, if not the biggest story that came out this past week was Nick Cannon actually being fired from Viacom CBS. So he was fired because of his interview with Professor Griff, a former member of Public Enemy. And in that long interview, it's about an hour and a half, he made several anti-Semitic comments. And what I think was crazy is he made even more wild comments about white people, which I'm sure we'll get into. But definitely some troubling statements were made. Specifically, when talking about Jewish people, he referenced the Rothschild, centralized banking, the 13 families, the bloodlines that control everything, even outside of America. Basically, again, like we were talking about last week, kind of framing Jewish people as like they run everything, they control everything. We talked about last week how that type of rhetoric is problematic, but also saying that Black people are the real Jewish people and we are the real Semitic people. So they are in fact imposters and they're taking what is rightfully ours. And that type of language, again, is problematic in the Jewish community. He also said white people were more savage and less than because of their lack of melanin, and they because Black people have more melanin, we're more compassionate people. And Viacom, I guess, initially went to him to ask him to apologize, and initially he didn't apologize, which led to him swiftly getting fired by Viacom, and that houses his Wild 'N Out show on MTV. But then he later apologized, and then Fox agreed to keep him on the show, The Masked Singer. So wanted to talk about this. Again, it seems like a recurring situation, but what do you think about the situation, bro?
I think I'm going to condemn what Nick Cannon said, a lot of things that he said, at least, because it was an hour-long interview. I know we only talking about some of the clips of it, but there was an hour-long video. He did say some stuff that was a little bit eye-opening. And again, he's one of those thought-provoking people that we talk about all the time. Not to necessarily listen to everything that they say, but listen to what they say and then try to get some thoughts about it. So I'm gonna condemn with a lot of what he said, but I'm not gonna condemn Nick Cannon because again, he's just kind of regurgitating some stuff that he had already heard. Now the problem is what he is regurgitating is questionable at best. So this is a long, it dates back a long time. This is not a new conversation. It's anti-Semitic stuff. It's not a just now because Deshaun Jackson said it and now Nick Cannon is saying it. Even the dude that he was interviewing has been accused of being anti-Semitic in the past. Like, and you can make that case pretty easily, but I'll let you make that case. So what he's regurgitating is already questionable at best. There's no way to prove these type of things that he's saying. That's the real problem with it. But what I will kind of commend him for, because I'm trying to keep the same energy that I had with Drew Brees, and it's that, hey, like, just because I don't agree with what you said doesn't make the difference. Like, I'm going to keep the same energy. So what I said about Drew Brees was that, hey, the 24-hour apologies, I'm cool with. I'm cool with you coming out an hour, 2 hours later, within that first 24 hours, apologizing without speaking to anybody, just trying to, adhere to the backlash. Nick Cannon's first comments, and I'll put that on the screen here for y'all. But Nick Cannon's first comments was like, "Hey, basically, I take accountability for what I said, but I'm also open for education. If somebody wants to come in, tell me about it, talk to me about, hey, why is this anti-Semitic? Why is this the wrong thing to say? If somebody's available to come in here and educate me, then I'm all open for it. I'm not against that." So he then come back about 48 hours, set to 72 hours later, and then comes out and tweets again. I'll put that up. But he basically says that, hey, I've talked to some of my Jewish friends in my Jewish community. I've realized how hurtful and painful that was for y'all. I really understand it now. I apologize. I think that we are canceling people and throwing the baby out with the water, right? So Nick Cannon doesn't have a history of just hate. Like no one. I don't know where you would be able to find that at. So Nick Cannon doesn't have a history of this type of thing. So we shouldn't just be canceling Nick Cannon. This cancel culture stuff is what D.L. Hughley actually said this on his platform, but he basically said that, hey, this canceling stuff is making it so we don't have conversation that we should be having. Like, we should be educating people when they talk like this. We should be telling them why this stuff is ignorant, because what they're doing is reading and they're going out on themselves and they're looking at these type of articles because these are cited sources. This is an actual psychiatrist that's actually posting stuff like this. It was a long time ago. And even up to, I think it was like 2010 was the last time when I was researching it, was the last time that I could see some of these things being reposted and things of that nature. But these are actual people that he's actual people that have degrees and things of that nature that he's actually following, trying to figure out what they're saying and then regurgitating it. And then not only that, he's having it with another person that has the same thoughts as him. That's the problem. He's having it on his platform with the person that feels the same way as him. Me and you don't feel the same way on a lot of different things, especially politically. So it's good for us to be on a platform talking to each other so we can try to get, so people that can listen can hear both sides of it. When you only got somebody that's going to agree with you, you have nobody to check you. So what he did was correct that by coming out saying, hey, I apologize for what I said. Or not necessarily apologizing, but I take accountability for what I said. But hey, I'm looking for education at this point. He got his education. He apologized. He realized that it was wrong. I think that's the right thing to do. That's the way to handle a situation like this. If you get fired and things of that nature, don't adhere to that backlash. Because you said what you said. At some point, you got to stand on what you said. And we'll talk about that with Chance in a little bit. But I'm cool with the 24-hour apologies. Like we've been over this like many times. So this to me is the best way to handle it. Whether what he said was right or wrong, I think that's obvious. But I don't think that you can cancel Nick Cannon for a mistake. That I don't think that's right. Does that make sense? I know I kind of went over a lot of topics.
No, you straight.
Okay.
I just wish you had that same energy for my dog Kanye and the other brother we're gonna discuss later. But that's neither here nor there. All right,
we'll get to it.
It's neither here nor there. I agree. I think in the Black community, this rhetoric is not uncommon. Like I've heard this. I may be a little bit more biased. I may have had a stronger awareness of this just because of the strong footprint of the Hebrew Israelites that they had in Philadelphia. But this language, this type of methodology is very common, and this dates back all the way to the late 1800s. So you can kind of see this in like Kendrick Lamar's last album when he talked about in his song Yah, where he said, I'm not black no more, I'm an Israelite. Like being black, that's not facts no more. And then he had his on the song Fear, he talked to his cousin talking about how black people were the true Israelites. And then Jay Electronica, when he quoted Louis Farrakhan, that's kind of in that same vein of how black people are the chosen people, and that how we are the chosen people, we are the people of God. And again, Tamika Mallory said this the best way, and I don't think I can say it any better. I refuse to condemn a black man in a public light in a country that has a history of condemning, killing, oppressing our leaders. So I won't do that on a national stage, even though I do disagree strongly with some of their ideologies. But I think the bigger issue is we have to start looking at why these narratives are so popular so that we can start to kind of prevent these things from happening. Because if you look at it, if you check the comments, if you check on social media, a lot of people don't think Nick Cannon said anything bad at all. And again, like we might see like, oh yeah, it's obvious what he said was wrong, but a lot of people don't. Because like I said, this is a conversation that's been going on in the community for quite some time. And there are people that really think like this and they don't understand the error in their ways. So when we talk about the Black Hebrew Israelites, this was a group formed in the late 1800s after slavery ended in opposition to the new Jim Crow era that was actually systematically oppressing Black people. So they had to kind of they had to form a methodology to kind of explain and empower Black people in the face of overt oppression, in the opposition of overt racism. Even the Nation of Islam kind of took some of the teachings from the Black Hebrew Israelites to kind of stand on some of those anti-Semitic comments saying that we are the chosen people, we're the real people of Israel. So that is what was needed back in the 1800s because of the specific circumstances that Black people faced when we talked about real systemic racism, real oppression back then. So when we look at these teachings in 2020, so much has changed. We've come so far that we really need to start looking at, yes, this was good for our community a while ago. Yes, this was good for us to get to a certain point, but now we're at a level where we can no longer be as ignorant. We can no longer spew these hateful things, because you can start to see some of our rhetoric is starting to line up with the rhetoric of people that we claim to be in opposition of. So we really have to be mindful of, we are not the only people that are being oppressed. We are not the only people that have been through something in this country, in this world. And we have to be more mindful. We have to be more aware of how that affects other communities, and not just the Jewish community. They were saying some flagrant stuff about white people. And if any white person was to say that stuff about Black people, to say, because we do have melanin, we're savages, we're less than, bro, that's crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that was slid under the rug just because of the times, but even that's unacceptable.
Yeah. Anytime that you're trying to justify the way people act just off their color, is racist. Like that's what it is. That is exactly what racism is. If you're trying to classify an entire race as this or that, whatever statement that you want, as smarter, lesser, savages, whatever words you can think of, you trying to do that, that's racism. No matter who's saying it, no matter what platform you're on, anything of that nature. If you're even not even saying it directly, because there's a lot of times that people say that and it's indirectly. Anytime, and that's kind of where systematic racism comes into play. But anytime you do anything of that is racism. Like, and we as a people, as you know, as the United States, anywhere that you can think of, we have to call that shit out. We got to be able to come out and say like, hey, bro, that's not the way we should be thinking. But again, we shouldn't be canceling people or saying this or that about them just because they said one thing, right? We can educate them. We can talk to them about this, because it's bigger for Nick Cannon to do that. And that's why I commend him for actually coming out, apologizing for his words and taking that back, because the people that were listening to it, where they had that confirmation bias and they already feel that way, they see Nick Cannon say it, they see another educated brother say it, now they're like, okay, well, this guy obviously must be true. So it's big for him to come back and say, actually, I fucked that up. Like, that's not right. We shouldn't be thinking like that. It's big because he may sway people's mind away from that now. So the people that he swayed one way by saying it, he easily came back and swayed it the other way by saying, hey, y'all see what's happening to me. Y'all see what type of things I'm going through now. Don't think like this. Don't say these type of things. It's not right. Like, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And it takes a lot for a man to do that. And we see a lot of the times, we see one side or the other. We see people like Donald Trump, for example, that will stand on his word no matter what, no matter right or wrong. This is what it is. This is what I stood on. We see people that fold too quickly, like I thought Drew Brees did, as like, hey, I'm not willing to take this backlash. Let me apologize immediately. And we got what I think is a happy medium of the two, is like, hey, his first statement was, hey, educate me, talk to me. Like, the conversation should have been had with somebody of who you're accusing, because that's kind of what he's doing, is accusing people of things. Who you're accusing, you should have a conversation with. That's why you had the positive shout for Candace Owens not too long ago, because she comes in and she has a platform where her and another person just sit at a table and they just talk. They don't agree on everything, but they just talk. Like, that's how it should be. If you have a conversation with somebody that's already viewing you as a certain way, that's a confirmation bias. We got to get away from that. So that's kind of where we at with the situation. I don't really have much more to say about it. I'm not condemning him. I'm not even condemning Viacom CBS for firing him. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. I think that Fox handled it actually a little bit better, which is, hey, they held off for a little bit. They said, hey, he's apologized. We talked to him. He's truly sorry for what he did. Like,
Viacom gave him that same opportunity. Like,
yeah, but
they came up to him and they talked to him. Was like,
it would have been a 24-hour. It would have been a 24-hour deal that I was talking about. The statement that he came out with, they didn't like.
Yeah.
The statement that he came out with, he was asking for education, they didn't like. So that's when they fired him.
Yeah.
Fox took the time to say, like, and I could see both sides. I'm not saying from a corporation standpoint, they would have faced a certain amount of backlash. Which is why it's surprising that a company like Fox would actually take the time to say, hey, I appreciate him being educated. I appreciate him coming out and apologizing after a little bit. We're going to keep him on as the person that we want. Like, I can appreciate that
that's
too.
two different political ideologies right there when we talking about CBS and we talking about Fox. So
that's what's crazy about it, though.
Yeah.
That's to me, because if you see, right, like that's what's the wild. Like, y'all catch that bar yourself, but that's what's wild about it. Like that's what's wild.
Sips some 1738 right here.
No, let me sip, man. Hold on. Ooh.
Okay. Stay as Nick Cannon says, stay woke.
All right. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's wild, bro. That's a wild concept.
All I want though is for you to keep that same energy.
I'm gonna try, bro.
Keep that same energy because we pick and choose who we give passes to.
I am going to try to keep that same energy. I'm gonna attempt. I actually went back and watched my past pods whenever we talked about these people, and I've seen my bias, so I'm going to attempt to do my best.
Oh, that's in the notes.
I'm not gonna be confrontational about it. I know I was wrong. But there is enough information for me to have created that bias. That's my thing. But we'll go into it. Let's get into it. Yeah,
speaking of somebody folding, we talk about Chance the Rapper. So Chance the Rapper recently was so inspired by Yeezy dropping a video on Twitter called Donda after his mother. And basically he felt inspired to tweet his support for Kanye West because Kanye has announced that he was going to run for president. In a series of tweets, basically he just stated that why is Joe Biden the best alternative to Trump? And if the agenda is to quote unquote get Trump out of office, why isn't Kanye a valuable option? And a lot of people just started coming back to him and was like, hey, we're not against like a black man. We're not against that. We're just against Kanye running for president. And it just led to some back and forth tweets just of Chance actually explaining why he thinks Kanye should be the option that we choose. And then my dog came through to try to help him out, give him some backup, but I guess he wasn't liking it. So Terry Crews actually came out to say like, hey, this is good. Like, this is what happens when you stand on a hill by yourself. Because Chance said, how come when you stand on a hill, you realize you got to die on it? And then Terry Crews was like, look, you think it for yourself. You know what I mean? They did the same thing to me. I appreciate like you bringing that narrative to the conversation. And then Chance immediately was like, you know what? I'm sprinting back down this hill. I'm off of it. You know what I mean? I do not accept the endorsement from Terry Crews, which my dog swiftly said, I never endorsed you, bro. And but it kind of brought up a good conversation of like, he was bringing up some good points. Later on, he went on to like the Joe Budden podcast. Well, they didn't go on, but he called into the Joe Budden podcast and they had a conversation of why he thinks that Kanye should be a consideration for the presidency. So we want to talk about that whole exchange and with that, because you know where I stand. So
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I completely disagree. Like, I just don't. So to answer Chance's question, right? So the way I view Kanye and the way I view Joe Biden, right? They're two completely different people. They're in two completely different professions. Joe Biden is a lifelong politician. So his ability to be a president, I can clearly go back into his record and say this or that. Whether I agree, whether I think it's positive or negative, whatever the case may be, I'm not talking about who I'm voting for or anything like that. I'm just saying if I look at him as a candidate, I can go back to his history and see the type of things that I do like, I don't like, and then I can go either way, and I can go to his debates. I can listen to him debate. I can listen to the type of things he's been saying in the last interviews, and I can decide on myself whether he's a viable option for me to vote for. The thing with Kanye West is I don't see anything in his history, his past. I don't see anything that would say that he's a great president, especially not one video from Monday. I don't know what in that video made Chance be like, damn, this guy should be our president. I don't really know what like hit him at first, because he had stated back a few days ago, like, hey, I don't know anything about this. I'm not really commenting on this. Then this video came out and he was like, nah, that's got to be the president. I don't really know what happened in between those time frames, but I just don't understand it. So when I look at Kanye West as a candidate, I don't see anything that would tell me he'd be a viable option as a president of the United States. Matter of fact, I see a lot of red flags, if I'm really just being honest with it. I don't want to talk a person's mental health, but every time he's in the media for something and it seems a little bit far left or far right, the first thing that comes out is a story about his mental health. Now, can that be somebody attacking him as far as the media is trying to get away from him? Possibly. I'm not going to weigh that out. But he has also came out in the past and said that he is bipolar and he does have mental health issues. So I don't really see why we would put a man like that in the office. I just don't understand the concept behind it. I think it's very dangerous because not only is now if he runs for president and does actually end up on the ballot, which it doesn't look like he will, but it also but just as a side note, he is supposed to be having some type of political rally in South Carolina today. So we don't know at the moment as we're recording, but it did seem like we did see some reports that actually happened. But going forward from that, I don't actually see this being a good thing because he's going to split the vote. And that's what Joe Budden kind of addressed Chance for. You are splitting the vote because Kanye West, whether you like it or not, probably wouldn't even win even if he did get on the ballot. Right? Because he would need more than the vote from us, like as far as the black vote. He would need more than that. So you are now splitting the vote from people that we really think that should be in office just for some political campaign. It's kind of like Joe Exotic running for president. Like, I don't really know why you're doing it, but it seems ridiculous. That's just kind of where I'm at. By all means, fight. Like, tell me why Kanye West would be a valid option for president, but you let me know because I don't see anything that would say that as of right now. It's not far-fetched because we've seen somebody that doesn't have any political background actually come and be a president as we have in office right now. But I just don't see why. I don't see anything that in his past as far as with his money issues, his contract issues, his mental health. I just don't see anything that would say that he would be a great president. It just don't make sense to me.
Well, I think it was less of like you have to vote for Kanye, but it was more of like, why are y'all so against him trying to do this? Because if anything, like you said, like people had that same criticism of Trump. Like, he's not a politician. He can't do it. We don't know his record. And then he came in and did what he did during his presidency. So he's saying like that barrier has already been broken down. And you see the criticisms of the current administration and how he kind of looks out for a certain demographic. He looks out for a certain base. Why would we not want to empower somebody from our community that specifically is going to take care of our community if elected into that position of power? Why not support him and go after him? And he started to question some of the things like, okay, why are we so loyal to Joe Biden? Like, what has he specifically done to earn this loyalty? What makes you think? Right. And that's all he was doing. You know what I mean? He was creating that conversation. And I think that's what needs to happen. Anytime somebody creates a tough dialogue where we have to start really thinking and start analyzing critically, now we just want to cancel him. He's a sellout. He's this, he's that. And then as soon as somebody who has already been labeled that sellout and that coon, now you want to just turn your back on them. Like, all right, whatever. I just want somebody that stands for these principles. It's like, no, these are the conversations we should be having. This is the whole point of Kanye running for president. So these conversations can be had. Like, it's not about like, is Kanye going to be the best president of all time? It's like, is it even possible? Like, is this something that we can do because of look at the power he created and look at how he created that power. Anybody can be a Kanye West from that example. Like, it takes a certain person to be a Barack Obama. You have to kind of have a spotless record. You have to have a clean thing. You have to go to a Ivy League school and all of that. Anybody could be a Kanye, and why would we automatically just shun him because of all the different criticisms? What is better? What is the alternative? We got somebody who's possibly dealing with dementia. We got somebody who's been labeled a racist. Not saying that these are my views, but I'm just saying everybody has their criticism. So it's like, why are we so quick to tear this black man down for trying to do something outside the box when we have these two alternatives? It should at least be given consideration. And granted, there is a third person on the ballot. There is a libertarian candidate that we're not speaking about. But why can't we have this conversation without somebody being canceled and without this conversation just being shut down once the wrong people get involved in it? These are the conversations we should be having. It takes more than just saying that, okay, I hate Trump, I'm going to vote for anybody against him. It's like, nah, bro, we need to be more politically aware. We need to have a political agenda. We need to vote in our interest for somebody that's going to align with that political agenda. And it may not be Kanye, but at least let's have that dialogue. And I think that's what he was trying to say.
Right, which is exactly what I'm trying to do now. Like this, I'm not shunning Chance for what he said. I'm addressing what he said. I'm having the conversation that he was trying to actually provoke, which is saying like your question was why not Kanye? Well, earlier just a little bit ago, I told you these are my reasons why I wouldn't vote for Kanye. Now it's just me, but I'm indulging in the conversation he was having. I'm not condemning him for actually trying to provoke the conversation, because again, we do need that. We do need us to be a little bit more politically aware. These are good questions. Like why would we be loyal to Joe Biden? As for me, what I can say, I'm not loyal to Joe Biden at all. Like that's just kind of where I'm at. Like I don't, as of right now, I don't know if I see him as a great option either. But for those people that are saying like, hey, Trump is anything but Trump, then you got to look at both of your options, which is with the Libertarian Party as well. And if Kanye does get on the ballot, then you would have to look at him too. Like you can't just look at, I'm just gonna vote Democrat because I don't want to vote Republican. You have to take a chance to look at everybody that's on the ballot. And so, if he gets on the ballot, then this conversation should be had more. My problem is there's been so much time where he could have done this, right? He's missed all the elections that would have mattered to him. He's missed all the debates that should have mattered. And now, like in the 12th hour, now he's coming in saying that he want to be president. Like, I just can't support that. I don't see how I can get behind that now this late in the game. Had it been earlier, maybe I would have considered it more. But to me, that means that you're not even taking this seriously, because you knew all the dates. You had all this information for months, for years, actually. You knew when the elections would be. Now that you're coming in this late, I don't know if it's just a whim that Kanye wants to do, because we've seen this before. We've seen him support Trump. We've seen him go against Trump. I don't know what a Kanye West party would look like. Again, it just kind of comes off as a little bit of a joke to me, and I don't think this is something that we should be joking about.
Well, you could argue that maybe he had faith in the system and maybe he thought the right candidate would be up there. But since we see the way that this actual party played out, he don't think the best candidate actually got put up for the Democratic side. So it's like, you can't really just say like, oh, he could have done this, he could have played by the system, because it's like maybe he trusted the system to pick the right candidate and they didn't pick the right candidate. And he's like, all right, well, bet if this is all of our options, then I can't be any worse than this. And I already got a following. People already know me. I have a bigger platform than some of these elections. Why not give myself an opportunity, or why not put myself in as an option? Because right now, I don't like any of the options we have so far. I don't see anything wrong with that.
That would be fair if this wasn't so long ago to me, because Joe Biden has been the person since Bernie Sanders dropped out, pretty much, because he was pretty much uncontested at that point. So
yeah, but we had a whole epidemic since then, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that was still in January or February.
Pandemic,
that to me should state more than why he should have had his chips in order, though. Because what else was there to do?
Yeah, in that time he realized, oh, you know what, bro, this is how it's gonna play out. I'm probably gonna run for president then.
But he should have felt that fire underneath. We needed this. If you really wanted to do this, we needed this a while ago. That's what I'm saying. If you really wanted to do this, we needed your bid. We need your name on that ballot a long time ago. Right now, I just can't see it being the time for that.
Can't you write in names on ballots?
You can.
And didn't like somewhat upwards of 1 million people didn't vote last election?
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
It's
not an easy it's not an easy solution. It's not an easy conversation, but it's like
I just don't
just discount it.
I don't want to say that it'll never happen, because if we keep saying stuff will never happen, then the Libertarian Party will never come up. But I don't see a write-in name ever winning the presidency.
Never had a person like Kanye West in this situation.
If Kanye West ran, would you vote for him?
If I see his name on the ballot, he might get my vote. I'm very strongly leaning into Kanye West.
But we don't know. We don't even know any of his politics, though. In reality,
exactly.
That's not safe. That's not. I don't want to say it's not smart, because I'm not. That'd be disrespectful. But it's not. I don't know what the word to use. It's just I wouldn't. We don't know anything about what a Kanye West political party would be like.
All I know is that inauguration gonna be lit. Bro, he had the flying stage last time. Imagine
Alright.
if he get up and get president.
I would definitely fly out to the inauguration. That's
You
true.
gonna come out on a straight bald eagle like this is America.
Nah, that shit would be lit. I'll give you
It's
that.
gonna be lit, bro.
After that, though, that's the only guarantee, though.
It's gonna be a 4-year party, though. It's gonna be a
That's
4-year
the only
concert.
guarantee. We don't know nothing else. We don't know nothing else.
It's gonna be
That's
a 4-year
dangerous.
concert, and I got front
That's
row
dangerous.
tickets.
Yeah, no, that's too dangerous for me. It's
man.
too dangerous for my vote. I don't know what it's gonna be like. I can't vote for something because again, we talked about this before. We talked about when you vote, you should vote for your interests and the people that you think can hold them up the best. I don't know what Kanye West is standing behind. I don't know anything about his policies. I don't know who he's gonna be running with. It's too much unknown for me to even think about voting for Kanye at this point.
No, I feel you, but you're looking at it from a point where like you're attacking Kanye, and it's kind of like what people do with Trump. It's like, I hate this about Trump. I hate this about Trump. I hate this about Trump. So Joe Biden is the other option. All right, I'm going to go with him. And it's like, no, like evaluate them all. Like, don't just tear down Kanye. Like, tear them all down and then see some of the things. I'm just saying, if you take that approach
right now, though.
Right, but I'm saying if you take that approach, you'll see that Kanye isn't as bad if you stack them up. Like, yo, he's not the only one on there with some potential mental health issues. So it's like you can't just throw that out there. And it's like, oh, we don't know his policies. Well, we really don't know the policies of the other two, too, because they're saying one thing, but then they did another thing historically. So it's like, let's not just say that Kanye is the only one that has these criticisms. That's all I'm saying.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I agree with that.
All I know is a Joe Biden or a Trump inauguration is not gonna have 2 Chainz. It's not gonna have Tiana Taylor. It's not gonna have all. Well, what? Nah, this gonna be crazy, bro. Imagine Kanye performing "No One Man Should Have All This Power" as president. It's lit, dog. It is so lit.
Oh my God. You gonna have a floating stage?
He gonna have a floating White House.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's lit, dog.
No, you might. Yeah, no, that is a guarantee. That is a guarantee. But until then, let's go ahead and talk about this endorsement that Chance didn't want.
I'll let you introduce this one.
No, because this thing, I got 2 options based on what I wrote in my notes. All right, I don't know where you really want to take this conversation. So what are we gonna be talking about here with Terry Crews? We talking about Terry Crews. What exactly do you want to talk about?
This my thing, bro. I want everybody to keep that same energy because as soon as Deshaun Jackson say something and he like, you know what, let me clarify myself, it's okay. As soon as Nick Cannon say something and he clarify himself, you know what, it's okay. But as soon as Terry Crews says something and we don't like it and he doubles down on it and he agrees, like, I agree that Black Lives Matter. I agree that we need to make some change. I agree with the movement that's going on. I just want to warn about this. And then the things that he warned about have come to fruition. But then he's a coon. Bro, what is black supremacy? The past 2 weeks, we've been talking about anti-Semitic comments and about how people are looking at black people to be powerful. And then you got all these people following these celebrities just because we only have 2 instances of the celebrities. They're bringing light to a conversation that is already being had. That's why they keep quoting Minister Louis Farrakhan. That's why they keep quoting the ISIS papers. That's why they keep quoting all these things because these are conversations that are already being had. And we already talked about what's going on. We don't have any leaders. We don't have real leaders in the black community. So the leaders that we do have, look at some of the flaws that they do have. So because somebody was ahead of the curve and say, hey, I don't want this to morph into Black Lives Better, we're seeing that happen now. We're having this conversation now of why this type of thinking is problematic. Why is he a coon? When he's come out to say, yo, I support Black Lives Matter. You know what? I was wrong about the Gabrielle Union situation. Hey, I really do want what's best for black people. I just want us to look at the whole picture. But he's a coon, but we're able to forgive everybody else. Like, nah, bro.
My thing is, how many times do I have to forgive you for making these mistakes, though?
What is the mistake, though? The mistake is you don't like what he said. He didn't say anything wrong. He didn't condemn Black Lives Matter. And when he did make a mistake with Gabrielle Union, he came out and said, you know what? I was wrong. I was speaking about my experience. I should have just deferred to her. He clearly came out and said that. But when he talked about his recent tweets, but what has he said wrong?
Well, all right. So So when I did call Terry Crews a coon, okay, it was because of the Gabrielle Union stuff. I want to be fair. That was way before he had apologized anyway. So that was the timeline would have matched up to where I could have when I came in. I seen what he said. I was emotional. I attacked him for that. I apologize for that later on in Bob Pod. I don't think Terry Crews is a coon. Okay. Now what I will say is I don't see how this conversation is forcing anything forward because again, these type of conversations, like I said earlier, have been happening for a long time. We have, as a community, have been keeping this at bay. We have been shutting this out when we get a chance to. This is not the first time we've done this. This is not the first time they've been condemned for things that they said. Deshaun Jackson said something he was immediately condemned for, right?
But yeah, but that's not the issue though.
I'm getting to it though. I'm getting to it. So I'm saying he said something he was immediately condemned for. Nick Cannon said something he was immediately condemned for. I don't think we need another protest to stop the protest in order to just say like, hey, this protest can't get too crazy. Like we don't need another group of people to try to hold this person accountable. Come and join us, and while you in this movement, then you can go ahead and say like, hey, watch out now. Don't do that. That's too crazy. Watch out now. That do this too crazy. But when you stand from the outside, you're not really in the movement like that, and all you say is hurl thoughts of this can't go to this way, this can't go that way, warn us of this and that. Well, why don't you come in here and actually do something yourself then? Why don't you come in here and actually make sure that you're stopping something? Because I don't see how you standing from your side with these Twitter, anything that he's been saying has not really been for the movement though. So I don't really see how you can stand from the other side and just be like, hey, I'm just condemning this. I don't think we need that. That's just me personally. We as a community have already been shunning this as is. So I don't need another person to come in here and say, I'm going to be the leader of just to shun in the anti-Semitic stuff. We already are shunning this anti-Semitic stuff. Why do we need Terry Crews to do that?
I don't understand how you can accept when the criticism comes from outside the culture, but when it comes from inside the culture, we get mad at them. No, we can accept. No. We can accept when Jewish people say, "Hey, that's wrong," but okay, my bad, he made a mistake. We can accept when Jewish people say, "Oh, Nick Cannon did something wrong." Oh, okay, that's a mistake. But when Terry Crews says, "Yo, let's make sure not to do that in the first place," he's wrong for criticizing the movement. I don't understand that.
I don't think he's wrong. I'm just criticizing him for saying, "Hey, I don't believe that Terry Crews is actually supportive." That's my first thing.
He said, "I support Black Lives Matter. I just don't want it to turn into a black." Okay, all right. I can't have this conversation if you're just gonna say I don't. You're letting your. He's literally come out to say I support that. I just want to make sure the movement doesn't get lost, and we've seen how the movement is getting lost when certain people speak on it. Certain people are quoting anti-Semitic. They're saying white people are less than and they're acting like animals. This is what he said. We have to handle it accordingly. Right, but that criticism came from outside the culture. He was
not
saying
always though.
You just brought up 2 examples of when they did.
Deshaun Jackson was addressed by people within the culture as well though.
Bro, he had anti-Semitic comments and he said something because his front office were Jewish people and they had the control over him. And he said, you know what? I was wrong about that. We in turn responded to that and said that, yo, this isn't right. Same thing about Nick Cannon. He was fired by some people that were owned by the owners of that company were Jewish. So it's like, we can't just make a mistake, expect them to say something on the back end and then get mad when somebody say, yo, let's not do that in the first place. That's like saying, yo, you should wear a seatbelt when you get in the car. And you're like, nah, don't tell me how to drive my car. But then after you get into a car crash and you fly out the windshield, you're like, oh, bet I'm glad that I'm safe and I probably should have wore a seatbelt. No, we told you before that happened to wear a seatbelt. I'm telling you what could happen. And then when we see these things happen, you get mad at the person that's trying to tell you not to do it in the first place, especially when they're coming from our community. We can't just deem him a critic because he says something that go against the popular narrative. Like he's saying, yo, we can't get rid of white supremacy and not include white people. We have to keep them in mind. We can't just make it a us versus them thing. We have to include everybody because if the goal is equality, we all need to be on the same page. It's not just about us because that's where these things keep happening. It's just us. We take the narrative that makes us look good. We take the narrative that makes us the chosen people. We take the narrative that makes us the true Jewish people. And we don't care what we say about anybody else. That in itself is black supremacy. And that's what we've seen over the past 2 weeks. That's what we've seen in these fringe elements of our culture that is going on. So he's saying, let's not make this movement that I do support turn into that.
But I don't think that's what we support though. I think we actually come out and condemn that every time it comes out. There was nobody in the community that the very slim majority of that, like even Dwayne Wade came out and supported Nick Cannon, right? He even had to come out and clarify, like, hey, I'm not supporting what he said, I'm supporting who he is, right? So we do like govern ourselves when these type of things happen. Only reason I'm saying that we have to take that advice because you can't call somebody, you can't accuse somebody of something as far as a whole community and not let them speak to you about it. We can't, the same white people, we can't accuse them of being savages and then not speak to them about it. That's why I'm saying that
about his comments though. He's went and talked. He's been on CNN. He's been on Roland Martin.
Right.
He's explained his comments saying that I support these movements. I just have a different point of view. And if all you're going to do is attack my character every time I bring a different point of view, then you're not really serious about this movement.
I'm not trying to attack his character though.
I'm not saying this is not about you. This is what he is saying. And the fact that he's being canceled, he's being called a coon whenever he gives his endorsement, everybody wants to run away. That's childish.
I disagree.
That's childish.
With it, but I don't understand it though. Because
right, but
Go ahead.
I'm saying the same respect that we give to people that make the mistakes, we got to give that same energy to people that criticize, to people that's going to step up to say, you know what, I disagree, because we all don't have to think alike as Black people. We all don't have to be in the same box. We all don't have to do that. So when you have somebody that speaks out and say, yo, you know what, we need to do this. Hey, I don't think that we need to be wary of this because this could be a problem. We shouldn't be like, oh, well, I don't see you out at the marches. I don't see you doing nothing else. You don't have the right to say nothing. It's like, no, bro, he's not any less Black because you don't see what he's doing. He's not any less Black because he has a different point of view. No. That is a valid point of view from a Black man.
That's your argument. That's fair. That I don't disagree with that at all. I think I don't even go as far to say that I disagree with what he said. I just don't really like, how should I say this? I don't fuck with Terry Crews. That's why. I'm just gonna call it what it is. I'm just calling it what it is, man. I don't fuck with Terry Crews. So you really can't have this conversation with me. I am biased on this. I just don't like Terry Crews.
Hey, that's just kind of where I just want to say, like, as a community, we got to be mindful of that because it's like Tamika Mallory said, like, we have a country that's built on dividing us. We have a country that's built on the condemnation, that's built on the suppression, that's built on killing the Black leaders. So we can't just expect everybody to be on one page, and as soon as they do something that we don't like, oh, I bet they a coon, they a sellout, or they not really Black. And it's like, bro, like, we all in this together, and we all have different perspectives, and we got to be able to be adults about this situation and bring different perspectives. If the true goal is equality, we got to be open to that. And that's all he was saying. And the fact that no matter how small, what he said came to pass, it's like that even gives him more validity. But everybody going to think what they think about him. And it's just, I just don't want to do that to another Black man.
I just don't see Black supremacy as being a gigantic issue that we have to worry about. That's just me.
We just talked about it for the past 2 weeks. That's all I'm saying. We talked about it for the past 2 weeks.
And that's what my point is about us. We are governing ourselves in this, though. With podcasts like this, with platforms like this.
If we're governing ourselves so well, this wouldn't have came up. We're not governing ourselves this well. You're governing in your... What you mean it happens? No, it don't. That's just saying like, oh, the KKK, some white people are just racist.
Okay, so why is white supremacy a thing?
What do you mean?
Like, why is it a thing? Like, do white people govern themselves as far as white supremacy goes?
You got to word that better. I don't understand what you're
talking about. So white supremacy is a thing, right? So we know Black supremacy. We know what white supremacy is. That's what we kind of equating Black supremacy to, right? So I'm saying that the Black community is governing Black supremacy. We're saying that, hey, we are not trying to be better. We're trying to be equal. All right. So white supremacy is a thing as far as like organizations like the KKK. We know about systematic racism, things of that nature. I'm saying, do white people govern white supremacy?
I would.
Do they condemn it? Let's start.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
They condemn it. Okay, we condemn it. Black community, we condemn.
Right,
it.
But when somebody brings up that the KKK is white supremacist, then it's like nobody like, oh, shut up. Or when somebody says that the government isn't inherently systematically racist, the white people don't cancel them, say that they're not white. That's a cultural thing that we do.
Surely there are people that still agree with white supremacy.
But I'm saying that it isn't a cultural thing that somebody loses their Blackness. They're not a coon or a sellout if they don't agree with the popular narrative. Other cultures are able to think differently. And to think that we are the only people that you have to think like this to be Black. You have to do this. You have to dress like this. You have to talk like this. You have to act like this to be Black. That's the problem. Because that's why people get on culture and they be like, if you don't vote for me, then you black. And they feel comfortable to say that because that's the running narrative in our community. And that's not right. And for somebody to call that out, granted, they might be corny. Granted, you might not like how they say it. You might not like them as a person, but that's real.
It just feels a little bit of a whataboutism, though. That's all I'm saying. Like, it feels like it feels like a community is saying, hey, white supremacy needs to be stopped. And you like, well, what about black supremacy? That's kind of what it feels like. I'm not saying that's his intention.
He never said that. He's saying that saying that we need to be equal without involving another place, involving the race that we're saying that is oppressive, is the same fault that creates white supremacy. For you to say that I'm a coon or I'm a sellout, you're deciding what makes me black. That in itself is racist. But
that's what I'm saying. I can understand why somebody would look at that and be like, bro, nobody said that. Because at that time, this
people call them coons and sellouts.
Oh yeah, but this is for past situations though.
But this is the thing. If you call him a coon or a sellout because he disagrees with you, you're deciding if he's black enough. You're deciding if he fits a mold. The same way that these racist white people decide if you're a good black person or a bad black person, depending on how you act. That's the same methodology.
That's fair. No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I ain't mad at that. But
Kanye inauguration gonna be lit. Make sure I got tickets at the door, bro. I got wristbands for sale. I got posters. I got all that, bro.
I honestly don't believe that you will vote for Kanye West. I think this is the jokey joke, which is cool because it's time for the jokey joke. I'm cool.
Well, all I know is I got 2 good feet, and I'm thankful for that because it's those out here who cannot say that same thing.
Right. So I told you last time. I told you last podcast. I'm not about to sit here for the disrespect. If you ain't gotta hop around your house, you don't understand my struggle, bro.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about you.
No. Yeah, you was. No. Yeah, you was. You call me Quinto Kinte. I'm cool.
You can't the stallion. You can't the stallion, bro.
I'm going, bro. No, fuck no. I'm out, bro. I'm going. Man, shit, bro. Let me get a drink. Hold on.
Oh, that's what I was meant to segue into that topic, but I forgot that you actually hurt your foot.
Nah, you trying to
look at
that. You fucked me up. I'm not cool with that. You was definitely disrespected. You know my ankle fucked up.
I forgot all about that in the moment. I really was trying to segue into Meg this time.
Got the rap on right now. You already know what it is, bro.
Did you have to get out you had to get out the car and hop around?
Bro, no, that was bad. That looked crazy, bro. Can you imagine being shot in the foot and fucking had a... Yeah, I don't know what they was thinking with that one. But surely they didn't know her foot was shot, but I don't know. Let's get into it though, man. I don't even think we need to even explain a lot about it. I think it's best to say what we do know, and then we'll go from there as far as speculation, because that's all we can do at this point, speculate what happened.
Yeah.
So what we know right now as far as the situation between Tory Lanez, Meg Thee Stallion, and unidentified woman, I'll leave her as that. I think we know it's one of Meg's best friends at this point, but unidentified woman. We know that they were driving on a car, some type of SUV truck type of deal, black one. There was a gun inside the car. 4 shots were fired from inside the car. One of those hit Meg in the foot. The police arrived after witnesses have called. They immediately found that vehicle. They pulled them over, got them both outside of the car. Tory Lanez first. He was laid down on the ground. They got Meg Thee Stallion out a little bit later. Took her to the hospital as a victim. Took Tory Lanez as a suspect. And the other lady was set free, as well as the driver. So that's kind of where we at right now. Like it's a short clip, but that's what we know right now at this point. So do you want to go kind of reaction? Because we got the 50 Cent stuff that was coming out that people were saying we know how he gets on Instagram. We got Meg Thee Stallion coming out, kind of explaining it a little bit. We got Meg Thee Stallion's bodyguard coming out, her producer or manager coming out. I'll try to put all those tweets up somewhere on the screen as we talk about this. But which way you want to start first? There's a lot to go on, and we can get into speculating.
Well, I really don't want to. I don't want to speculate just because we won't get the truth. Like it's an ongoing investigation, and right now they're saying nobody is cooperating. So Tory was arrested for the concealed firearm, and it's looking like that's all he'll be charged with. Meg and her friend have come out to speak on it a little bit, just alluding to like, yo, I'm really going through something. Like, y'all might find this funny online, but like, I legit got shot in the foot by somebody who intended to do me harm. So, if anything, I think her side of the story will come out eventually, but it probably will be a while before we actually know what happens there. I just think that Tory Lanez has what I call the Chris Brown syndrome, bro. And I think that before this incident, like Tory Lanez was having an incredible year. Like we talked about it many a times on this podcast with the quarantine radio, with all this work he was doing in the community, with how a good album that he put out for him becoming independent. Like literally, his trajectory was going straight up. Just like Chris Brown. Like Chris Brown was like the chosen one when he came in, and it's like, bro, he's going to be the next Mike. He's going to be this. He's going to be that. But they both always had a chip on their shoulder for whatever reason. Like Chris had a chip on the shoulder just because he wanted to be better than MJ. And he wanted to do this, and he had sometimes these unfair comparisons, and he didn't want to be this squeaky clean guy. He wanted to be the bad boy, and we see how that kind of turned his career, and it kind of, I think, impeded on his potential. Whereas though Tory Lanez always had something to prove. It always came off as a little bit insecure, even going back to before he blew up, where he had a $10,000 challenge to Drake to say, if you listen to my mixtape, I know you'll love it, or I'll give you $10,000. When it came to him dissing Drake and then eventually them becoming friends just to get his attention. When it came to his diss spree or this battle spree when he was going back and forth with Jordan Lucas and Don Q, even calling out people like J. Cole and Royce da 5'9", it's always looking like he has something to prove. Even when he dropped the album Memories Don't Die and he talked about almost getting into a fight with Travis Scott, and then somehow, some way, a couple weeks later, the video footage drops of them about to fight. It always seems as if he's trying to prove something. And if it comes out to say that he actually shot Meg Thee Stallion because they got into an altercation, it's just like, it just kind of, it falls in line with what we've seen from him in the past. And I think this is kind of his biggest downfall, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, this one tough, right? Because I don't want to condemn or put any validity to an accusation at this point. I don't know enough information. I don't know if enough information to say Tory Lanez shot her. I don't know if somebody was robbing the car. Again, that's why I'm saying speculate, because I don't really know what happened. All I could do is try to create a scene. I don't think we're going to find out for a long time. Police have said witnesses are not cooperating with them as far as the people that are in the vehicle or outside the vehicle that saw the situation happen. Nobody's actually cooperating with them to say what happened. So we won't find out for a long time. But for Tory Lanez to be going on such a good track, that's why I could see the opposite of why would he then turn around? Because yes, he has had all those things happen in his past, right? But in the last year or two, he's been almost always positive about these situations, right? I don't see that same aggressive nature that I've seen with him that he's had back in 2014 to maybe 2018, something like that. I don't see those type of situations happening in his life anymore. So I don't see why he would give that all up, that type of persona, that positive trend that he's going toward. I don't see why he would give it up now for an argument. Now, alcohol may have been involved, weed may have been involved. I'm not sure. That tends to change you a little bit, but I don't see why he would do that. So I don't want to believe that he did until I find out the truth, right? I don't want to believe either way. I don't believe I don't want to believe he did shoot her. I don't really want to believe he didn't. I'm just saying I don't know as of right now. All I can do is speculate on the information that I got, right? And so there was a lot of jokey jokes on the internet. So I think that's kind of what we want to address, because 50 Cent kind of had a picture of the Ricky. I don't want to laugh at it because I'm a little lit right now, but I don't want to laugh at it. I ain't gonna put it up either, But Meg Thee Stallion came out, and I'll put this tweet up, is basically saying like, hey, like black women are attacked kind of like daily on the internet, and we don't feel protected. We don't feel like some of our black men are protecting us, and we feel like some of our black men are actually participating in this type of stuff when we are going through this struggle. This is a problem, right? And this is a big problem. I don't want to get too deep because but we've talked about this even when we had our guest on, which my cousin Shantae, when we had her on, she even said that it's like, hey, we don't really feel protected by y'all. Like we don't feel like y'all are in this with us completely. So how do we how do we get that? How do we change that? I guess I should say, right? Because we on here right now. We got our platform. What can we say for in support of Meg Thee Stallion? Maybe we should talk about conversations like that.
Well, and I think that's kind of why I had that criticism of Tory Lanez. It's not to condemn Tory Lanez, but just to show the pattern of what this type of mentality does. When I talk about him showing off that insecurity, when I'm showing off that like trying to prove something, it leads to situations like these. And it's not to say that Tory is a bad person. It's just to say that this type of effect in the community is more common than we may think. So it's like a couple, and again, I don't want to keep speaking on it because it seems like I'm coming at him. But he said in the interview not too long ago that he's like, I don't want to go anywhere if I need a gun. And then it comes to find out like he gets arrested with a concealed firearm. So it's like we kind of have to be mindful of like what type of situations are we putting ourselves in? Are we putting the Black women that are around us where we don't feel safe enough to take them there without a gun? You know, like they were like looked like a couple hours earlier partying with at Kylie Jenner house or whatever like that. So it's like without knowing the whole situation, I can't really say what he did or didn't do to protect Meg Thee Stallion without getting into if he shot her or not. So it's like you really just it's kind of hard to kind of piece those two together with me. What I would say is just as a man, you got to be able to get your success and then have your own mission. Because it's like whatever you're doing it with it, like, yeah, we know like this podcast isn't as big as other podcasts out there, but I'm not going to go out here and just create issues or create this or whatever just so I can get that look or get on the same page with them. And I'm not going to get further by tearing another person down. Like that's like kind of like a crab in the bucket mentality. So it's like I'm just going to stand on mine. I'm going to do what I do and then build what I need to build, take care of who I need to take care of. And then whatever that may be for me, that's good enough. I'm not comparing myself to the next person. I'm not trying to compete with the next person. I'm just trying to be the best version of me. And in that, I found my most success. So it's like when I say that the chip on the shoulder mentality, it's okay if that's an internal motivator. But once that starts to impede with your progress, once that starts to visibly tear down your career or create setbacks, then that's something we need to be mindful of.
I like that. That's a good lesson for anybody, not just in like our communities in general. But well, listen, man, we've been serious all pod. We've been serious, bro. What the fuck happened to that car, bro? Like what could possibly be the argument that would cause Tory Lanez to shoot Meg Thee Stallion in the foot?
Well, Tory Lanez was like, bro, I'm tired. I want to go home. She's like, no, Tory, we're going to a club.
Now we get to the nitty gritty. All right.
And he was like, no, I want to go home. I'm sleepy. And she was like, no, Tory, sit your ass down. And he stood up and then she stood up and he was like,
he realized what to do.
Oh, that's why they call you the Stallion, huh?
Stallion. Oh, you meant that. Oh, you meant that. Oh, you meant that. Oh shit. Yeah, okay. All right. Or maybe, just maybe Tory Lanez been hitting that thing. Meg Thee Stallion said, listen, man, it's a hot girl summer, so you know I got it lit. So I'm about to go back to these streets. After this, I ain't fucking with you no more. Tory Lanez knew that thing was crazy. He didn't want to leave it. Got mad. This is where we at, bro.
Nah, you don't shoot her in the foot, bro.
Nah, see what happened was he stood up, but she was so tall that when he was trying to aim, he wanted to aim kind of low, like maybe like a thigh or something. You know, he got a lot of thigh meat, but he was so short he actually hit her in the foot.
Bro, you see that video of him freestyling on Sway? And he got out the chair and he was the same height.
You know his feet was
That's how he was in the back. He's like, no, you're not having a hot girl summer. She's like, what you going to do? And then he stood up and then he was trying to assert himself, but she thought he was still sitting down.
You know what's crazy? He probably stood up and didn't even have to bend down in the car.
That's what I'm saying, bro. The fact that he was 5'3", listed as like $120, $130, she probably was handling him like.
Oh, she probably. Meg Thee Stallion was probably fucking him up. She was probably fucking him up.
No, this is all
in real life, like $120.
No, I don't know what it was. I don't know, bro.
No, it was like $1. I don't really want to. Like I already would laugh at the man attributes, but
You literally made us go into this video.
I don't want to though. I mean, I want to. I got to.
That's literally what you made us do, bro.
I told you, man. I told you, man. What Killer Mike said he don't want to do this. He don't want to be here, but he got to, bro. So
we don't have to be. You want to be here. You intentionally drove this car here, bro.
Yeah, bro, we can't be. I don't want to have a serious conversation about this. Shit is ridiculous. Like I do, but I don't. We had that. This shit is ridiculous, bro. What the fuck happened, dog? Like that's all I can think in my head. Like what the fuck could have possibly happened? I don't know. He was trying to get the threesome. You seen that dude with the Lakers jersey on? Just the super dusty dude. He's just like,
she's like, no, you giving me Nelly.
I'm trying to have a threesome. She's like, no.
My mother, I just wanted to get your outfit. With the DC chain?
Yes.
Oh, my, yeah, 23, yeah. Let them know what's going on.
Oh, yeah. It was good, though.
Yeah.
But yo, check this out. We trying to do a threesome.
I'm all right.
You giving me Nelly, okay.
You get what you say? You give me Beyonce. You gave me Beyonce. Dog. I'm telling you, bro. That's what happened. Dog. He pulled up. He said, "Yo, I'm trying to get three." She said, "Nah, I'm good."
That's fun. You wild.
Here we at, bro.
You a wild boy, man.
But that's a crazy ass story, bro. But as to make it sorry, man, as my fellow 1-footer for the next few weeks, man. It's hard out here. It's hard out here for just 1-footers, man. Y'all don't know what stairs is like when you got 1 foot, bro. When you got one good foot, you got to give them stairs, and there ain't no guardrail, so you just got to all the way up, bro.
That twerk gonna hit different when she can't plant her foot, dog.
the one-legged twerk game. The one-legged twerk game. I tell you what, the one leg gonna be crazy when she get both legs, bro.
Oh, it's all side pictures from now. It's
all
side.
The one leg gonna be Meg, the one-leg stallion, bro. That shit gonna be crazy. But nah, bro.
Just do it, man.
Go ahead, let's get into these positivity challenges, bro. You got anything else on that?
No, I didn't have that on that. Like that was all, I didn't want to do that. I don't want to joke about it, but literally sit the last 20 minutes.
We gotta get the jokey jokes on, bro. I gotta get the jokey jokes on.
Oh man.
Had to. Nah, all right, well, shit, let's get into the positivity challenge. Mine's just super short. I don't know if you want to go or you want me to go last.
I can go on mine. So I wanted to give a shout out to a man by the name of Christopher Buckley. So Christopher Buckley is a Army veteran, and he was a former head of security for the Ku Klux Klan. So he grew up hating minorities based on his upbringing in Cleveland, Ohio, and his deployment overseas made him have a prejudice against Muslims. So in 2016, he actually got out of the military. And again, he rose to prominence in the Ku Klux Klan, but because he saw that they had that same hate or whatever, but he connected with a mentor and a person by the name of Dr. Kelly, who was a Syrian refugee, and learned that his hate was misguided. So he basically linked up with people, former members of the KKK that got out and let them know that, you know what, this ideology isn't real. You know what I mean? The hate you have for these other races is not really based in anything. And then once he started connecting with people that shared his views, he started connecting with other people of other races and realized that we're all the same at the end of the day. So he now volunteers for a non-for-profit called Parents for Peace. And basically Parents for Peace dedicates their time to protecting young children from that influence of those radical racial ideologies and kind of helping former members of hate groups come out of that and kind of rebuild themselves and reintroduce themselves into society by connecting them with people of other races and kind of creating that awareness. So I think that what we've been talking about these past couple weeks, what we've been talking about these past couple months when it talks about racial issues in America, we have to have a level of compassion to everybody, no matter how bad we think a person is. I think everybody has the capability to do good. And we talk about this man, he was the former head of security for the KKK, and he was able to get out of that and not only condemn and not steer others away from going down that path, but actually giving back and helping children and leading the next generation to not make the same mistakes that he did. So I just want to shout out for Christopher Buckley just for making that contribution and turning away and kind of being one less person in that agent of hate.
Nah, that's dope. That's dope. I had no idea. He was part of KKK and then actually got out. And
he was the head of security for the United States. So he was like an imperial something like Imperial Falcon. Like they got crazy names or whatever, but he literally was the head of security. And his videos of him and his son in like KKK wardrobe, but then got out and connected with other people and was like, yo, you know what, everybody, yo, this dude is cool and he's Muslim. You know what I mean? So it's like,
that's crazy. So mine is going to be really short, but the reason why it's going to be so short is because I want you to actually, once you hear about this man, I want you to actually go and search, whoever is listening, I want you to go actually search and look at his legacy and just admire what he actually did for America. Because I wasn't very aware of who he was or what he did or anything like that. But he's passed away in the last couple of days, and I just want to take the time to kind of mention him on our podcast, give him our positive shout out, tell him to rest in peace. Hopefully send some prayers to his family, things of that nature, because the impact that he actually had on America has been phenomenal. Like the type of person that he is just phenomenal. If you want to see a lifelong like activist, a lifelong person that sacrifices for the better good, you can look at his career and clearly see all the things, all the type of work that he's put in. But that's Representative John Lewis. Again, rest in peace. Prayers to his family and condolences as well. I know this is a tough time for them, but this man sacrificed his whole life for the movement. Like for real, he was ever since he was working back. He was people mentioned him as a lieutenant of Dr. King. So he's been doing this for a long time. He spent his whole life doing this. So I hope that we can take his like teachings and move forward with it, because it would suck for us to be in the same circle just over and over again as a society, as America. But rest in peace again. Rest in peace, John Lewis. And I'll just end with a little bit of a quote. One of the quote from John Lewis is, when you see something that is not right, not just, not fair, you have a moral obligation to do something. And that's just a simple quote, but it went so far. It goes so far that you can take that and put that into any type of concept that you want to, as far as America, any type of thing inside really across the world. You can use that as a good human being and go forward with it. So rest in peace, John Lewis. That's all I really got for that, man. It's a really sad situation, but I hope that anybody's listening to this will go ahead, get on your Googles, man, search that man career, read it for yourself, and then take that with you, man.
That's dope. Got a shout out from former President Obama himself. Like even people like Chief Wright coming out, like powerful man.
I didn't know. I was unaware. So I made myself known, but I don't want to because I could be talking all day. Anytime I just looked at something, I'll talk about it forever. So I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and research that yourselves.
Right. Well, we appreciate everybody for tuning in each and every week. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and follow us on all social media platforms at the Who Am I Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, at the Who Am I Pod, or Instagram and Facebook at the Who Am I Pod on Twitter. Listen to us on the Anchor app. Listen to us on Apple Music, Google, Spotify, anything where you can find podcasts. Go ahead and check us out. Look up our clips, look up our videos of the podcast on YouTube at the Who Am I Podcast. But again, we appreciate all of our supporters. We appreciate everybody for listening. We appreciate all of our viewers. We would enjoy some more reviews. If you do like this content, if you do like this post, or if you do like this episode, let us know in the comments. Let us know if you want to be involved with the podcast, if you want to be a guest, if you want to be sending some questions or sending some of your thoughts. We do encourage that, but we appreciate everybody for listening and tuning in.
So if you listen to this, go ahead and send us your best theories on what happened in that car. All right, just go ahead, send it to us. I'm gonna investigate. I got an investigative team. We're gonna go ahead and investigate. We're gonna figure out who shot Meg, bro. We're gonna figure it out, bro. Don't worry about it.
Like a goddamn Scooby-Doo episode.
Now, what is it? If it wasn't for you goddamn one-legged people.
Hey, if y'all got any recommendations for that inauguration playlist for Kanye, let me know, because Word on the Block is I'm gonna be the DJ. You know what I'm saying? We trying to have that thing lit, boy. We gonna have that thing jumping, bro. Girls free before 11. Don't talk about.
If Kanye get in office, will he approve weed for federal federal workers? You think?
Bro, he gonna abolish everything.
All right. Nah.
He getting rid of everything, dog.
I don't want to get rid of everything. I don't want to get rid of everything. That's the issue.
Hey, all I know is, bro, bottles gonna be buy one get one free. I'm talking about player section. You know, I'm talking about we gonna have that thing jumping. If you want to get, you want to get into that inauguration party, let me know. You know, what I'm talking about we can get you on the flyer. We can get you in the VIP section.
The flyers. What the VIP section look like in inauguration? That's a nasty VIP. That's a nasty.
Well, you know he a Christian now, so that thing gonna be kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah, I ain't going, bro. I ain't going. I forgot. I ain't going.
But ain't no bottles, just a bunch of holy water.
Nah, yeah, I ain't going.
Just bread and wine.
I ain't going so somebody can tell me, see, that's what's wrong with you. That's ain't nothing but the damn devil.
Oh, we gonna have Chick-fil-A. You gonna have Chick-fil-A on Sundays. Don't talk about we gonna be lit.
You know what?
Go
You
through.
know what?
Go through.
You know what? If Kanye West come out on his platform and say that his political party is just to make sure that Chick-fil-A is open on Sundays, I'll be about it. I'll be about it. All right.
I'm Kanye West, and I approve this message.
Look what it takes to get our vote. That's what the problem is, bro. Look what it takes, bro. That's a fucking chicken sandwich. All right, bro. I'll let you.
All right, bro.
For sure.
Who am I? The girls them sugar.